Hey guys, okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this. This is a galaxy and emoji little canvas here. It's a really great wall decal or wall decor, and you can put this in your dorm room, your just regular room, anywhere, and you can do this as a gift. I am making this for my sister for her birthday, so she could put it in her little dorm room in Yale. So let's get started. I used a large bucket to help me draw the 3 emoji faces just because I can't draw a perfect circle, so I used that and it made the whole process much faster. I taped up the circle just so I can paint much faster without worrying if I'm going to paint over the faces, so I just taped it up with regular plastic tape. I had this in my drawer somewhere, so I just used that, and I just started painting over it and around it. I wanted to have a black background, so I went ahead and painted the entire background black. Then I took out the tape from the inside, so it was just easier to find where the tape was instead of trying to navigate it through the acrylic paint. And then after I took it out, I painted the corners of the emoji face with precision using a small paintbrush. Then I got blue acrylic paint, and then I added some water to it. I got a sponge, and then I blotted some of the blue around the canvas. I then got purple and white acrylic paint without adding any water to it because I wanted a thick texture to it. And then I got my same sponge that I used with the blue acrylic paint, and then I dipped it into the purple and white paint, and then I actually just dabbed it into the areas that I already added blue. This part is optional, but you can get a makeup sponge, a disposable makeup sponge, and then you can just blot the areas that you already added paint just so it can blend into the background more. But it's really up to you and your opinion of how you like the texture and what you want the texture to be. If you want it more rough, then you can leave it like that. If you want it more blended and infused, then you use the nice makeup sponge or a regular dishwasher sponge if you like. Just make sure it's a condensed sponge just to give it a more diffused look. I then went ahead and got some red and I blotted in the area of blue, and you don't need to do this where, you know, there's blue everywhere. It's just some sections that you want some reds. This is a galaxy, you know, it's up to you on how you want it to look like. It really does not have to have a distinct look. And then I added purple right on top again just to have the, you know, the red undertones. I liked having some red underneath the purple, but you know, it's up to you. The galaxy does not look one way, it can look many ways, so you do not need to do it the way I'm doing it. I'm adding purple and white again, but on the other side, on the top right side, and this actually has more blues in it because I added more blue acrylic to it. I want, you know, some depth in color. I wanted the range to be different. I didn't want it just to be purple and white, so I added more blue acrylic paint. Now I added red on the bottom right corner, and I am actually gonna keep the red instead of diffusing it in with the purple. I'm gonna add yellow on top of it later, but then I'm gonna do this right here. I am dabbing it in this manner with my sponge, and I'm also gonna repeat this on the top left corner. I did add some more tones of red on the top right corner to go with the purple, but then it will kind of diffuse in with it later on. I got white acrylic paint and put it on a toothbrush, and then I flicked it all over the canvas to make it look like there's small little splatters all over the canvas, so make it look like there's mini stars and many stars in the galaxy. I then used the clean side of the sponge and I dipped it into the white acrylic paint, and I blotted it on the top right of the canvas to make it look like there were a cluster of stars. I'm going back to the bottom right part of the canvas, and since the first layer of red dried, I'm going in with another layer of red and I am blotting on top of it. Now I'm getting yellow and I'm dropping it on top of the red sections just so it gives it a nice burst of kind of like a light in the red areas. After that, I'm just gonna use the same sponge again and I am dabbing it so it looks more diffused instead of just droplets of yellow. I realized that there wasn't enough red, so I added more red and I didn't put it around the yellow. I tried to avoid the center just so, you know, it wouldn't make it all red again. And then I added more yellow on top again. You can keep adding as much yellow as you want in the center, and then after that you can add white acrylic paint right in the center in a swirl, right in the center of the yellow area to make it look extra bright. Okay, we're done with the galaxy and now we are moving into the emoji faces. I'm using the same yellow I used in the yellow center of the red areas, and I'm just going to use that on the emoji faces. I'm going to do the center of the emojis, and then later on I'm going to go back to the first emoji and just use precision, and I'm going to be really careful about painting the corners of the emoji face. Now I'm adding a sheer white coat on the top half of the emoji, and if you're wondering what I'm looking at to really draw the emojis, I actually went on Snapchat. I put the emoji on the Snapchat and I actually enlarged the entire emoji face just to look at what I was drawing. So I'm using that as a reference, and I added white acrylic paint and I added water to it just to make it more clear. I didn't want it to be very opaque because I don't like it too opaque. It's a very nice natural looking white on the top right, on the top of the emoji face to give it more dimension and more shine to it. Since it was really watery, I went ahead and just started the bottom half of the emoji face, and I added the orange on the corners and around the emoji face to give it more dimension, to make it look like there's depth instead of a flat emoji face. So I did that right around, and I didn't want to go past the white part because it was just so watery. I didn't want to mix the orange with the white. If there was a harsh line around the orange, I actually got a tissue, I dampened it a little bit, and then I just rubbed it with my finger in the tissue just to make it nice and more gradual. You can either use the sponge method or the brush method. I first used the sponge method just to show you. I teared a little bit of the sponge I used before, the makeup sponge, and then I dabbed the makeup sponge in the orange, and I just dabbed it in the corners of the emoji face. Or you can use the makeup brush. Just kidding, not makeup brush, what am I saying? I used the paintbrush and I dipped it into the orange and I wiped the excess orange on a tissue, and then I rubbed it around the emoji face. They both work, but I actually recommend the paintbrush more just because I think it works better and it's more efficient instead of blotting the entire, perimeter of the face. I continued to use the tissue to help blend the orange. I did not want any harsh orange lines because, again, this is to help give the emoji face more depth and more dimension. So you don't want the harsh line to be there. Okay, finally we are done with the face base, and now we are going to draw the faces. I used a brown instead of a black because in the original emoji it's actually brown for the eyes and the eyebrows and everything. So I used brown paint and I started drawing it, but again my reference is the Snapchat. I enlarged the emoji on the Snapchat and then I saved the picture. Or you can just Google it and look up a large emoji face. I got my favorite emojis from my sister and I just started drawing it. I did not like trace it before, but of course you can go ahead, get a pencil and make sure the paint is dry, and then you can kind of trace it, and then later on you can use the brown paint and then paint over it. I thought this part was the hardest personally. Just making hearts was kind of hard for me. I didn't trace it before, so this was like freehand draw, and if you mess up, don't worry, you can just add water and wipe it off. But over here you just need to be careful about drawing the heart and making sure it looks like the one in the emoji, because the hearts are kind of like turned outwards and I had difficulty doing that a little bit. And just make sure you kind of do the same on the other side and it's spaced evenly. When I started drawing the eyes or any of these, I just viewed them as shapes. So right now, as you can see, I'm drawing the eyes and I just viewed it as like a crescent moon or, you know, a rotated C. So it just helps me kind of visualize it more and draw it easier. And just make sure you're calm when you're drawing this or painting this, because you can always wipe it off if you mess up. So there's no need to worry. I painted the hearts with red acrylic paint and then I was done. But actually the final step I did was I just painted the border of the canvas with like a dark purple, so just the sides of the canvas wouldn't be blank. But this is it. I am done showing you how I did this. I hope you enjoyed this entire tutorial. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and comment. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.